Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm talking about comic book shops. Specifically, I think comic book shops are dying, and I want to talk about can they be saved. So everybody can talk negative, everybody can say all the problems that's wrong with something. That's easy. But to actually come up with solutions to problems, that's something special and something that we should be discussing. I'm going to talk about the problems that I see with comic book shops today, and then I'm going to talk about some solutions that I think can help them. I understand that I am not a business owner. I am coming at it from the perspective of a buyer, from a customer. And in my mind, a comic book shop owner, any business owner, should have the idea or the mindset of a customer first so that they can understand their business and cater to the people that are coming in their stores. With that all out of the way, let's talk about some of the problems that I see with local comic book shops. Right off the bat, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, poor customer service. This idea that you can just be the disgruntled guy behind the counter, it doesn't cut it, and people are waking up to that. It's not the best way to approach customer service in any way. You got to get out from behind the counter. You've got to have kind of a smile on that face. Poor organization, cleanliness, all of these things, they have to be addressed. The shop should be tidy. And I know a lot of people like going into these shops they're just piled and packed with comics. I understand that. But cleanliness, organization, even if it is piled with things, those things can coexist. You can still have a tidy, organized display and still have a lot of stuff in there. One of the biggest issues is comic books that are coming out today are not very good. Bad books are being released from DC and Marvel. And what that means is the product that new customers are buying or existing customers are buying are not up to the standards of what the price tag is. There's very little continuity. There's new number ones every single week. The actual product that's being sold is not great. Another big issue is pricing on new issues and omnibus. Some discussion about talk coming down from Marvel basically dictating to local comic shops that they have to sell things or they have to sell certain items like these gold foil variants, or they have to sell things at a certain price. Major issues with pricing top to bottom, all the way from the keys to selling things at MSRP. It's too expensive. It's too hard to compete with online sales at those prices. Local comic book shops are overwhelming to new customers. If they already get past the disgruntled guy behind the counter, then there's the overwhelming feeling of where to start, where to get going. It's too overwhelming. It's the point of entry is too difficult. Bad optics for these shop owners that pay little to nothing for collections only to resell them and flip them for quadruple or whatever, 10 times the price that they bought them for. Bad trade offers or offering no trades whatsoever. They have to adapt different business practices, business models, and be more catering to people that are trying to trade or sell their collections. The only reason to overpay at these places is to support local businesses. And if you have these optics of being kind of shady and trying to rip people off, why would people go to support that business and pay the $100 MSRP on something that they can get for $60 online? This idea that we are supporting this local business, I mean, what are you supporting? I don't understand why you give that person your hard-earned money because they are local. Another huge issue is shops forsaking their passions of American comic books for manga, for Funko Pops, for these figures. It no longer becomes a comic book shop. It is something else entirely. It's a pop culture store, and no longer what its original idea and its original passions was a comic book. Comic book shop owners need to stop ordering so many comics to get a variant, the variant covers or the ratio variants. So if I buy 100 of these books, I can get one in 100 variant cover. This is a bad idea. It leaves you with extra stock that you can't sell, you can't move, and is literally worthless weeks later after it's been bought. Stop ordering so many variants. Basically, the issues are they order too much stock, too much stuff that they can't sell, and then they're expecting to sell it at such a high price. It's not conducive to a good business model. Why buy so much stock and then be so stuck on the price tag of selling it at this value? You have to be able to sell things cheaper, even if you are taking it at some of a loss. Basically, don't be over ordering so many things. The biggest thing is some of these prices in these shops. They are intentionally overpricing things to allow for negotiations, or you're just hoping that that big whale comes in and overpays on something. Even selling things at a little bit of a lower rate can help. All right, so in thy problems, I already kind of talked about some solutions, but really the crux of this video, I mean, I've harped on the problems. There's a million videos out there about all the problems of comic book shops, but let's talk about some of the solutions. The first thing right off the bat is hire a business consultant. It doesn't even have to be a comic book shop person. Just the investment of hiring a consultant to come in, evaluate a business, kind of pick it apart, see where you're losing money, see where you're making money, see how much inventory you're buying, see what's coming in, what's going out. All of these numbers broken down by somebody who is a true business person could help tremendously. Now, I understand that that is an upfront cost, but the value of that long term is huge. And that's something that goes even in high-end businesses. These companies still hire these consultants because they can really pick something apart. Now, the issue with this is so many comic book shops I see don't have accurate counts on what they're ordering. They're over ordering stuff. They don't know what they've ordered. It's just chaos. You haven't kept track of the inventory. To have a consultant come in, it may be so overwhelming that they can't even determine what needs to be done. But I think that's a big first step in seeing how to fix a business that's failing. You have to improve customer service, and you have to hire people that are willing to be positive and treat customers like they are special. Everybody that comes in your shop needs to be treated special, because you're coming into a specialty shop. You're asking people to spend more oftentimes than what they can get something online. You're wanting them to support local. You have to get people that are friendly and nice and welcoming. If the comic book shop owner is a disgruntled old troll, then he or she needs to realize to hire somebody that doesn't have that disposition. But to do that, you have to lower your ego. You have to lower your pride. The pull list. This is a very dangerous game. First off, pull list, if you're going to do it, it needs to be extremely easy. It needs to be a kiosk. It needs to be little to no human contact. Somebody should be able to just go and think about what they want to pull. It should be so easy. If you're going to do these pull lists, you have to have money up front. You've got to get the money from the person at the time of purchase, in my opinion, because I just see so many of these pull lists, hundreds and thousands of dollars of people not picking up their books. This is bad business practice. You can't count on these folks to come in without having a little bit of skin in the game, in my opinion, or just do away with pull lists completely and don't over order. Another thing is just clean up your damn shops. Don't have stuff laying in the floor. If you're putting new comic books up, they need to be out. They need to be displayed. I know there's some talk of whether to bag and board new stuff. To me, a new comics probably don't need to be bagged and boarded. You need to let the person at least look at the thing and see if it's art that they actually give a crap about. But just make a tidy shop. I know that's something that's not important to everybody, but I know it's important to a lot of people, especially me. Make a tidy shop. If things aren't selling, drop the freaking prices. It's just crazy to me. And I'm somebody that buys omnibus, and I know that to get an omnibus at MSRP $100, $125, you're overpaying. This idea that they're just going to sit on these books forever until somebody comes in and is willing to pay the MSRP because they want to support local businesses is crazy. I know for a fact they're not getting these books for $90 or whatever. And if you are, then you're messing up and ordering from the wrong people. This is one of those things, and I know a lot of people probably disagree with this. If you're buying something for $60 and you're selling it for $75, that's a hell of a lot better than buying something for $60 and waiting for somebody to come in and spend $100. Sell more books at the $15 profit and stop waiting on the $40 profit that's never going to come through the door. Shops need to have an online presence. It's unavoidable at this point. You need to have some sort of hybrid where you have multiple streams of income coming in and you're not so reliant on walk through the door customers. Obviously, you have a brick and mortar shop. You don't want to you don't want to have an online store exclusively, or else you would just close down your brick and mortar shop. But to have an online store is huge. It lets customers see what you have in stock, makes people want to come in. It is a lot of extra work. It's probably involving hiring another person. But if all these other changes occur, you're going to be making more money and it's going to be better. Your business is going to grow. In my opinion, new comic book buyers or people that are coming in that are just getting into comics, you should be recommending them the classic books, Dark Knight Returns, Watchmen, Swamp Thing, classic runs, like top of the top type runs, so that their experience with comic books right off the bat is so impressive and they have some continuity, some connection, some way of seeing a book that is so awesome they want to get hooked. If you get new people hooked on these new runs, they're going to burn out. The runs are not good. I mean, you're putting the burden on the person to try to sift through and find these good runs, and especially new people coming right off the bat. If they buy 10 books at $4 a piece, you're talking $45 with tax. You can get multiple trade paperbacks or even multiple single issues of good runs. You can recommend those to those people first. Don't recommend the new comic books right off the bat. Selling key issues for reasonable prices. Don't mark up the prices way above fair market value. This takes some monitoring. This takes keeping track of fair market value. That's a little bit more legwork. But don't just price these things expecting to haggle. People will pass on by. It's like, oh, that's out of my price range. That's too high. The people that are buying those books, yeah, they'll want to haggle a little bit, but if you have a reasonable starting point and not these outrageous prices right off the bat, you're going to have more customers. People are going to buy more things. Do not price books at the register. This is ridiculous. At least have some form of pricing on these books. Obviously that is super hard to keep track of inventory, but it's something you're going to have to do if you're going to play this game of running a comic book shop. You have to price things reasonably. Now, pricing things at the register, it's just a bad look a lot of times because it's like you're just you're a fly-by-night kind of guy. You don't have an idea of what the value of these things are. Also, let customers use their phones in these shops. Let people look up prices. Because I see big signs in places, no phones allowed, or because the volatility of the comic book market, we have to price things at the register. Give me a break. All that's trash. People are all looking for deals, looking for those little hidden gems in the rough. That's why people go to comic book shops, to try to find these little gems. And the last thing, and really, it's just a do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Treat other people with respect and you will get respect. Treat customers well. And also karma, man. Do not rip off the little old lady. Be kind to people. Be courteous. Be understanding. Not everybody has the same level of comic book knowledge that these owners do. You have to be welcoming. You have to be receptive. You got to be kind of a people person. You're owning a business. Guys, what do you guys think? Are these some problems and solutions that are reasonable? Let me know. If at any point in time you like this video, give the thumbs up. And if you like this video, subscribe for more. Take care.